here are the 3 questions when I'm trying to ascertain whether a salesperson is very good at emotional intelligence. These are the 3 things I think about. First, what emotionally triggers you? Is it body language? You know what I hear a lot emotionally triggers salespeople these days? When people are on their phone, when your prospect is on the phone while you're meeting with them. And that would trigger me to, like, I think most people, if you're sharing important information and the person's not paying attention, then yeah, that would frustrate me. That would annoy me. But it's not that you have to apologize for that for frustrating you. You have to be aware of how you respond to those situations. So it's either a prospect not listening. It's something a prospect says that is something they've heard before that rubs them the wrong way. Those are probably the 2 most common examples. So if you say, I'm an emotionally intelligent salesperson, the first question I'm going to ask you is, well, what are the things that upset you, and how do you respond to those things when they happen? And let's face it, everybody, first impressions communication, if you show frustration, if you show disappointment, if you show a lack of confidence, that in itself, you could have the best service and product in the world, but that could interfere with that. The second thing is how to pinpoint and deal with your own weaknesses, okay? So we have an assessment we send to companies that allows leadership and sales team members to try to identify where their weaknesses are. But you know what? How do you know where your weaknesses are? You know, a lot of leadership team will say, well, they're bad at closing. Well, okay, but what part of closing are they bad at? You know, what part of overcoming objections are they bad at? Are they not asking the right questions? Are they not listening to understand? Are they not as familiar with the product or service as they need to be? Do they not have a process that's proven and it works? It could be any of those things. But when we deal with weaknesses at a high level and when we expect people to be self-aware of their own weaknesses, most often they're not. And one of the leadership points I train on is a concept called heavy lifting. And heavy lifting is when you're putting people on the spot and asking them to be self-aware and critically think, especially about weaknesses or areas of improvement. We have to give them suggestions because most of the time people on their own can't pull these things up in their head.